we were in negotiations.
Investing in real estate, they're winning, they're making money.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Real Estate Educators Podcast, where we provide the education you can build on. I am your host, Kevin Amolsch. We're having so much fun with this podcast, helping real estate investors and real estate educators. If you're an investor buying properties, flipping, holding, if you're an educator providing content, this is the podcast for you. I have a super special guest with me today. I'm surprised, Aaron, that you haven't been on the show yet. What in the heck was I thinking? Been in the business a long, long time, third generation realtor and investor. I know you've helped hundreds of buyers, hundreds of sellers, and thousands of investors and realtors. In fact, that's how you and I got to know each other. You're sort of a foreclosure expert in Colorado, but overall a fantastic guy and a real estate investing expert. So welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, and calling me super special makes me feel super special. Thank you, Kevin.
You are super special, man. You've been on our stage many, many times, and I can tell you the feedback I get from the information you provide is always top notch. People really love listening to what you have to say.
Well, thanks. I'm excited about it, and it comes from the heart and my personal experience, so it's easy to do.
Cool. Well, I would love to get to know you a little bit, even though we've known each other. I think it's been about 15 years, something like that. I remember because we had met in my old office way back in the day when it was just three of us. But I don't know you that well outside of the real estate stuff. So why don't you just take us back? I know you're a third generation investor, but take me back, man. Like, why real estate? What got you excited about it?
Yeah, I swore I was not going into real estate. It was the family business. My dad was a broker in the Chicago area. It was Lebovic Realty. He had 5 offices and hundreds of agents. And I saw how hard he worked, and I saw how involved he was. And he was very successful. And then he lost everything. And then he was very successful, and he lost everything. It's the ups and downs, and he was cyclical, just like the real estate industry. And I went to college. So I'm from the Chicago area. I went to college in Denver at the University of Denver and studied finance and marketing. And I actually then saw my brother and my father doing something that was fairly different, which was buying at foreclosure auctions. My dad was focused on traditional sales and investing in a little bit of commercial, but not really auctions. And then when I saw just how much money they were making, they were in control of their own schedules and businesses. And, I just graduated college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I'm like, all right, I'll give this real estate thing a try. I started as a mortgage broker because I asked my dad, what recommendation do you have? I want to stay in Colorado. I don't want to go back to Illinois. What recommendation do you have to get in the business to get a good foundation? He actually gave me interesting advice. He said, go become a lender. Go become a mortgage broker, because when you follow the money controls everything in this business. And so I did that. I became a traditional mortgage broker. I partnered with the wrong people. I'm sure many of the listeners and possibly yourself can attest over the course of life. Who you partner with makes a really big difference in your journey and career. And I partnered with the wrong guy. It was a new company and just the wrong person to be running it. And then I get a call serendipitously from my dad saying, hey, Aaron, your brother is leaving me. He did all the work. I put up the money. Do you want to come back to Chicago to start investing in real estate? He set expectations up front. You're going to do most of the work, but I'll teach you everything you need to know to be successful. So, long story short, I went back to Chicago, started investing, bought over 130 properties, either at foreclosure auction or I bought notes, paper, mortgages. I was a landlord in some case, some buy and hold. Most of it was fix and flip. I learned a lot in a short period of time, and then the market started crashing. So I started in 2002 as an investor. And in 2007, starting in 2008, I had 24 properties in some phase of fix and flip when the market started to crash. and it was all debt in my name that I signed for personally, as well as for the business loans and lines of credit. And man, that was rough. I looking back on it, some people had a really really bad time mentally and emotionally, and some not so good things had happened. But I was still young enough and figured I could bounce and figure things out. And yeah, I did. I learned a ton. I learned more what not to do than what to do, which I think is just as valuable in anybody's experience. I learned early on that making mistakes is actually a good thing if you can learn and grow from it. And I'm trying to instill that in my kids today. And so yeah, I moved to Colorado. I co-founded a company, renav.com. We track foreclosures throughout the state of Colorado. I started teaching classes and consulting with investors on how to safely buy at foreclosure auctions. Yep, as you mentioned, taught thousands of realtors and investors during the downturn. In 2014, I realized foreclosure filings were way down and traditional sales were way up. Honestly, I saw how much money real estate agents could make. And I saw sometimes, they're just, some people are just not as like go-getters, like you and I are, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, I could probably run circles around a lot of agents and make a good bit of money. And one of my favorite things about it is that I can add a whole lot of value to someone's life as a real estate agent, and I personally have zero risk. Unless I do fraud or make some terrible mistake, which thankfully hasn't happened, and I don't think will. So having that like zero risk, but high involvement in helping people and their lives, making a difference in their lives, that's what jazzes me up, man. I love it.
You look so happy when I see your posts on Facebook or we run into each other at events. You always seem so happy. So it sounds to me like Renap. I mean, you're still involved, obviously, but it sounds like going the agent route was a great move for you.
For me, it's not for everybody. Definitely not. For me, it was a great move.
So your brother left your dad, you said. What does that mean? Like, are they still like? Was it a bad breakup or something? It sounds like maybe it wasn't so good.
My dad's man. I don't think I've ever dove into this with anybody, and here we go on recording.
You don't have to, Aaron. I was just
You
curious,
know,
like, because that created a opening, an opportunity for you that you jumped on.
yeah. Well, I saw the opportunity and I set an expectation with my dad. Like, Colorado's my happy place. I'd like to learn as much as I can and go back there. So I set that expectation up front. My dad is one of those guys. He trusts a lot of people and he has faith things will work out. And he definitely is like, he wants to do things right by people, right? But sometimes the people that he trusts and involves himself with are not wise decisions to make. And some of the investments and where he wanted to invest and the way he taught me to do it. So one of my brother's pieces of advice to me when I was coming in and he was on his way out of the office for the last time was, just be careful of what he wants to do. It might be well intentioned, but it might not be the right thing to do. And that was, I think one of the reasons why my brother left, and I didn't listen to that advice. We trusted the wrong people, we got scammed, we invested in the wrong places, we had problems. So that's why I say sometimes what you learn not to do is just as important.
So this is amazing. So this is what I wanted to get into. This is an interesting time in your career. It really launched it. It sounds like, and maybe because of the mistakes you were making. So, what did you learn during that time period? Like, give me a lesson or two.
Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. So who you partner with makes all the difference in the world. It doesn't matter how much money somebody might have, unless that's their exclusive purpose in the relationship is the money and nothing else, then great, the expectation's been set. But if you're going to partner with somebody and you have drive and you're a go-getter and you're a go-giver, great book, by the way, Go Giver. But if you're a go-getter and You want to surround yourself with other go-getters too. I've heard of like real estate partnerships, partnering up, and it just looks like the blind leading the blind, right? Great, you're blind, you're blind. Let's team up and be blind
Yeah,
together, right?
I see it all the time, dude.
Right. And then, the other piece is you want your partnership. And partnership could be a bunch of things. It could be like we're both doing this deal together and we have skin in the game. Partnership could be you play this role and I play that role. Partnering with people that bring different experiences and pieces of value into the relationship. Like I'm really good at certain things, but I am awful at other things. So the partnerships I'm always looking for is who's good at those other things, that could be trustworthy and that are as plugged in as me in seeing success in this venture.
So that's a good nugget to pull out of that time in your life. Is there another one?
Well, yeah, I mean, my motto for success is show up, work hard, and do right by people. It doesn't
That's great.
matter what I want to do. I could collect garbage. I could be a lender. I could be a real estate agent. I could be, anything. And just doing those things is gonna excel me. And I have that drive. I want to excel. Um, so yeah, show up, work hard, do right by people, and the rest will take care of itself.
So, okay, so now you go through this with your dad. You learned a ton. You probably did okay or well for a while. Maybe that's why he was on his roller coaster. But what brought you back to Colorado? How'd you make your way back?
Yeah, it's funny. The market didn't really start to crash until after I left Chicago. So what happened was I came back here all the time to visit friends. I graduated college in 2002. I loved the Colorado lifestyle, so I was here pretty much every 3 months or so, just having fun. And in 2007, I found out the law was changing to make it a way more attractive place to buy foreclosures in Colorado. It used to be there was a redemption period even after the auction, where if I bought a property at auction, I'd have to wait 60 plus days to find out if I was simply just going to get my money back, with maybe the default interest rate on the loan, which wasn't my intention for tying up my money. And I know a lot of people had time and resources to focus on knocking on doors of distressed homeowners and saying, "Hey, you lost your house to foreclosure auction. Now why don't you just sell it to me, and then we'll redeem out that auction buyer."
I remember those days.
Yeah. So I never really thought about buying at foreclosures here because of that. And then when I found out the law was changing to make it so that redemption period in total was before the foreclosure auction, uh, I was like, okay, well, this is a huge opportunity, and I want to be one of the first people on the ground taking advantage of that. And I was. Some of the first auctions I went to, it was literally me and one, maybe two other investors sitting around a little conference room table. And that was the foreclosure auction. Then, when the market started crashing, there was a whole lot more opportunities to be had. So that's why I started buying here at the foreclosure auctions here.
So you know that we do a ton of business here, and we do a ton of business out in Minnesota. So we have a pretty good network. People that are listening are mostly here in Minnesota. Let's say out in Minnesota, they still have the owner redemption post sale. It's a 6 month redemption out there. As you mentioned, there's none here except for the junior lien holder redemption rights. But there's opportunity in both markets. It's just a different strategy. And you alluded to that a little bit. Do you mind just elaborating a little bit on what redemption periods are and how an investor could take advantage of those?
Happy to. So the gist is that the government and lenders don't want to see a homeowner lose their house. Probably neither does the homeowner. And so there is this timeline in place that gives the homeowner the right amount of time to make the decision, do whatever they need to do to prevent the foreclosure auction, whether it's selling the house, trying to refinance it, although if you've missed payments, that's going to be tough, borrowing money from friends, family, filing bankruptcy if it's justified, although that's usually just not always, but usually a band aid that's not permanent. And so there are opportunities to help distressed homeowners on the real estate agent and investor side. It's a huge opportunity. There are some people that are like, I would never take advantage of somebody about to lose their house. Like, that's bottom feeding, that's ambulance chasing, right? I looked at it in a different way. For the viewers who have never met me, hopefully you see I'm an enthusiastic, nice guy. This is just how I am all the time. I get tired. I don't want to work all the time. I'm human too. I have bad days too. But when I was buying at foreclosure auctions, I always thought to myself, man, they're lucky it was me that bought it because I didn't put them in this position. I am going to benefit from it, but I'm also going to say, hey, what's an amicable way we can work this out? Like, do you have a friend that might want to buy this house and you can figure something out with them on living here? Or like, if you have to move out, let me pay your moving expenses. Of course, it's good for me too because I'm protecting the asset and coming up with a plan to take possession. But it's good for them too because they might be really stressed or can't afford it, and I'm making their life a little bit easier. Before the foreclosure auction, to help somebody, I'm using the words help somebody. I'm an investor. I'm in it to make money, and also I'm providing a service that I used to tell homeowners that were in distress and I was out knocking on doors. I would say, look, this is a way of controlling your destiny, right? If you lose your house to foreclosure auction, especially at the time when there's more, and there's still opportunities, plenty of opportunities today where homes are underwater. You could say, if you lose your home to foreclosure auction, at least in Colorado, check out the laws in Minnesota. But if a property opens up, if the lender opens up the bidding at less than what's owed, that's called a deficiency bid. And if the lender sells the property at auction or they're the buyer at foreclosure auction, and there's still a deficiency that exists in what they're owed, that lender can then chase after the former homeowner who just lost their house and haunt them to collect on a deficiency judgment. They could garnish their wages.
Mhm.
So when I was talking to somebody, my job is to, whether I'm a real estate agent or an investor, and here's another key takeaway if you're writing anything down, it's, my job is to educate and inform you so that you're equipped to make an empowered decision. I'm not your only option. My job is just to educate and inform you so you're equipped to make an empowered decision. It's your decision to make. So whether it's before the auction, I used to tell people, like, I'm not your plan A. Your plan A is Uncle Bob, who is saying they're going to lend you money. Or plan B might be trying to negotiate with the bank to do a modification or a forbearance agreement. But here's my card or here's my letter. Put this on your refrigerator. And if you find yourself sitting around the kitchen table talking with your spouse and saying, what are we going to do? Look at the refrigerator and look at my card and give me a call, right? As an investor, I'm not trying to take advantage of anybody, but I'm trying to be a solution that's better than the alternative.
This episode is brought to you by Pine Financial Group. Pine Financial is a private lender specializing in short-term rehab lending to real estate investors. Got a property that needs some love? We can help. We are able to offer funding solutions because we raise private money from individual investors. With more than 15 years of experience, Pine offers passive investors an alternative that provides stability, consistency, and security to your portfolio. If you like real estate but want to avoid the ups and downs and effort, a Pine mortgage fund could be a perfect fit for you. Accredited investors will experience an 8% preferred return and profit sharing. Diversify your portfolio out of Wall Street and into Main Street with a Pine Financial Group mortgage fund. Get more information at pinefinancialgroup.com. That's pinefinancialgroup.com. Yeah, that's great. And I haven't heard it presented quite that way, but that's when I was doing a lot of foreclosures. I didn't do the foreclosure auction like you did, but I definitely chased the foreclosures pre-foreclosure and very similar. Well, actually, it's exactly what you're talking about. I didn't quite frame it that way. That sounds like a better way to do it. Like, I'm not your plan A. Your uncle's your plan A. Yeah, I love that.
I mean, how often do you get a door slammed in your I mean, I'm talking about all investors, like, the first
Yeah.
thing they wanna do is slam the door and say, "I'm already talking to the bank." Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of it. I know you're talking to the bank. That might be plan A. Uncle Bob might be your plan B. Let me be your plan C, and I'm trying to get that out as quickly as possible while the door is slamming in my face.
Yeah. Yeah. Because plan D is do nothing, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? I want to talk a little bit about your classes you do, and then quick get up to current day, your real estate business that you have now with EXP. Let's talk about classes. You do a lot of education. I think not as much maybe now as you used to, but you've had a lot of success teaching classes and getting clients out of that. So can you talk us through that real quick?
You know who I have to thank for that? It never even occurred to me to teach classes and give back to the community until I met Lon Welsh and Charles Roberts.
But yeah, they did the same for me. Charles, not as much Lon. My relationship has mostly been with Charles, but yeah, it's gosh, the pressure he would put on me. Why don't you just teach something? Teach something. You'll feel good. You'll get clients out of it. You'll help everybody. And he's like, just do it.
Yeah, the only thing I might say, one of the things they said is provide the classes for free, and I think that's great. I also charge for my classes too. Certain classes I charge for, just because like it might get a better show up rate. But also, I mean, there was a time teaching classes in 2010, 2011, and even 2012. My requirement was that the room had to hold at least 125 students minimum for me to even consider teaching in that room. So I might as well,
Amazing, dude.
I'm giving good information. People needed at the time. I didn't charge a lot. It was $25. There are plenty of I mean, people have walked up to me saying, I just spent tens of thousands of dollars on programs, and they just paid $25 to attend my class.
How long was that class?
I'm sorry,
How long? Like time?
2 hours.
2 hour
So
class.
I also had a full day class. It started as 8 hours, got it down to six. And that was a whopping $300 for one person or $200 for a group of two or more that sign up together. Like, uh,
Oh,
I loved teaching these classes because, I like helping people and sharing my knowledge. I like making money. It was a funnel. If somebody's going to pay $25 to take my 2 hour class, I'm going to reiterate all of that information and give way more and go way into more into detail in my full day class. And then if they like what I'm sharing and they want to pursue that as a career option or even just a tool in their tool belt, as real estate agents or investors, then they would typically sign up for the subscription service. So renev.com is a Colorado only company. We're still around and thriving. We track foreclosures throughout the state of Colorado, and it's a subscription service where basically it's like the MLS. Send me properties in this area meeting this property criteria, and ping me, alert me when a property like that falls into foreclosure, or ping me when a bid is submitted and it's going to go to sale the next day or two. So it's also a searchable database where you could just get every foreclosure and send out mailers. There's lots of ways to use the tool, but it's a lead service for
are
realtors.
you still providing the data to the title companies? I know a lot of investors get their foreclosure list from title companies.
Correct. We provide the data of two title companies. We're one of two sources of the data. The other source is a title plant. We're a little different. We get the data directly from the public trustees website, which, by the way, is free. You don't even need to subscribe to our data. It's just there's only this much information that's valuable on the public trustee website to start. And then we aggregate data from a bunch of other websites like the MLS, public records, how many beds, baths, square feet. Like the public trustee doesn't share that information, but we do, and that's why our database is searchable and offers a lot more information. The title plant that provides it does it based on recordings. We get it from the public trustee, which is usually before the notice of election and demand is recorded. So, the one biggest complaint I got from one person that was upset with me, they're like, I knocked on the door before the owner even knew they were in foreclosure, that the foreclosure had been filed. I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
sorry, because
I mean, they had to know something. I mean, it's not like you don't know something, but
that
yeah,
was
that
my
is crazy.
response. They haven't paid for 6 months.
Yeah,
they knew it was
exactly.
coming, even if they didn't know that there's a foreclosure sale date set.
Yeah. Really? You don't know? Really? Yeah.
But the other website is good, but it's delayed because it has to wait for the recording to hit. So the data that we provide to title companies is more information and it's more accurate and timely.
Cool. So that's renav.com for Colorado. And it's pretty much every county, I think. Most counties.
95% of the state's population.
Yeah, cool. All right, and now you're an agent, so you're doing the investing, the renav thing, and now you're hyper focused on being an agent. So we talked a little bit about why you went that direction and how successful you've been with it. Well, I don't know if we've talked about that because you've won some awards recently, 5 years in a row as a icon. I don't even know what that means, Aaron. So tell me that, and then top 1% of agents in Denver. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Catch me up, man. What's the icon? What's this? How do you get the 1%? Like, what are you doing?
yeah. What am I doing? I'm showing up. I'm working hard and I'm doing right by people. That really sums it up. But to get more granular than that, well, let's talk about what is the Icon Award. So I have been with EXP Realty for 6 years now. It was hands down. There's a lot of great brokerages out there, and I still meet with broker owners. I'm always willing to hear like what's the value proposition, and honestly, I'll go to any brokerage that has the best compensation plan and value for me and my family. I'm not married to EXP. I just find that the EXP's compensation plan, it's a really fair split, but the value I get is through the roof. I often hear like, why would a producing agent want to join EXP, especially somebody that doesn't want to recruit? I think early on, some people did some like annoying things to try to grow their revenue share group, their downline. And I have a substantial downline as well. I have a substantial group of people that have joined under me. Um, uh, I'm not annoying about it. Like either the value's there for you or it's not. But with EXP as a producing agent, all I have to do is cap, which means the split structure is it's an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. That simply means every year after my anniversary day, I'm paying 20% of my commissions to EXP to be an EXP agent until I cap, paying a total of $16,000. And then I have no more splits to EXP. There's a small transaction fee. It's nominal, no big deal. After that, only after capping. And so to become an Icon agent, you close enough transactions to cap, which for me, it's like 6 or 7 deals a year, easy to cap. Then I'm 100% agent. But then out of those capped status transaction fees, it's once I pay in a certain amount of money, it's $5,000 in cap status transaction fees, and the transaction fees $250. I'm getting way more in the weeds than I'm sure anybody wants to hear. But the point is, I essentially cap and then close about 20 transactions, and then I become an Icon agent. But what that means is really special. It means I'm one of the top producing agents in the company, and there's many of us that are Icon agents. And then that also means I get my cap back in the form of stock. EXP is a publicly traded company, traded on the NASDAQ.
Really cool.
And so I get $8,000 just for achieving that status. I get another $4,000 if I give back to the community and I'm teaching classes or volunteering or helping EXP agents in some way, which I think is what makes this company great, is this culture of giving back and supporting one another. And I get $4,000 of stock in that. And then I get $2,000 worth of stock if I attend a conference. There's a local conference and a national conference, and I get $2,000 in stock just for showing up to conferences and networking and getting better educated. So it's like a beautiful thing. It's great.
Wait a second. I pay to go to conferences. You get paid to go to conferences? Maybe I need to look at the industry I'm in.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
exactly.
awesome.
And there is a vesting period associated with the stock, and it's 3 years at most. I mean, I've traded in over $100,000 in stock that I would have, I wouldn't have gotten, but I got it just for doing what I'm going to do anyway. I'm just going to show up and sell real estate. It's really a no brainer if anybody cares about your cap. The revenue share is a whole different piece, and that's where EXP pays me. Pays me very very well to be an EXP agent because I've got a large revenue share group under me, and I support them and I love on them and help them to grow their businesses. And when they win, I win. That's the only way the recruiting and revenue share piece works, is only if they're closing real estate. So I love helping with that too.
Yeah, I've heard about EXP's model with this. I mean, I've heard it called like MLM before, and I don't know if that's how you would look at it or view it, or if that is even negative or positive. I actually don't know any of that, but I have heard that it's you build up a tree or root system underneath you, and then it just feeds up. But can you like walk me through a little bit about how that's structured and how you benefit from that?
Happy to. Yeah, thanks. It is a little bit MLM-y. It does have a little bit of an MLM feel, but one of the differences, we're not selling potions or lotions, and we're not trying to recruit people to do something that they haven't done before. We're just here to sell real estate. And you gotta, unless you own your own company, you gotta hang your license somewhere. And what EXP said is, most of the time the company is built by the people within it, where agents are like, they love the support they get and the training that they get and the environment, and they tell their friends and their friends join the company. And in order to, or like the benefit to that, to most agents at most companies, is, hey, here's a $50 Starbucks gift card. At my last company, there was a profit share model. I won't name the company. And when I joined that company before, I was promised, this is the path to retirement for real estate agents. Well, I'm still in the profit share system. I won awards for recruiting at that company, and last year I probably made about $100. Like, that is not the path to retirement by any means. So what EXP said is, it's agents building the company anyway. Let's not hire recruiters, and let's make it so that the agents who help to build the company substantially benefit from that. Now, only 11% of agents at the company want to recruit. Only 11% of agents at the company have somebody in their that they brought on. And that's fine. There's so many other reasons that EXP is just an amazing brokerage to be at. But you get, essentially, when an agent under you closes a deal and pays a split to EXP. Remember, I said it's an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. EXP just takes a piece of that $16,000, well, I should say of that 20% from the deal that closed, because, just one closed deal, you're getting a good chunk of change in your bank account from having recruited or attracted that agent into the company. Starts with deal number one. But until that agent caps, the EXP says, thank you, Aaron, for attracting the agent into the company and supporting them. Thank you to Fred Weaver. Thank you to Kevin Kaufman. Thank you to Curtis Johnson. Thank you to Jay Kinder. Thank you to Michael Reese. Thank you to Brent Gove. All these powerhouse people in my upline are all benefiting from me having brought in that person. But that also means that these powerhouse, really good reputation, really hardworking agents and leaders above me are also loving on me. They're supporting me. They're providing value and resources to me to help me grow my sales business and my recruiting side of the business if I want to plug into that. It's
Are you?
really a cool model.
Are you recruiting?
Absolutely. I have a good number of agents under me. And we are constantly offering private masterminds. It's actually every week through my upline. Kevin and Fred are hosting weekly Zoom masterminds from really the best of the best agents all over the country who do nothing but love and support and advise on everything that the industry is going through, how to build your business, how to sustain your business. Not just that, but also quality of life. I have a lot, and this goes back actually like the Wayback Machine to earlier in the conversation, like the value of partnering with the right people and how substantial it is to create the path in your business and your personal life and where that goes. And I've partnered with the right people for sure.
I don't know the number, Aaron, of episodes we've done here, but it's over 70. I think it's really close to 80 episodes. And I got to tell you one thing that is pretty much universal is what you're saying here, that the people in your immediate sphere is the most important thing, the most important asset in your success. The people are that important. So working with someone like you that has 20 plus years experience starting on the investing side, but now I learned also on the lending side. I mean, this is a vast amount of knowledge, foreclosure expert in Colorado. Um, Gosh, if I was an agent, I might consider giving you a call.
Well, I would welcome that.
All right, well, we're going to get wrapped up here. I'm going to go through a couple of notes that I jotted down, Aaron, and I just want you to tell me if I missed anything, and then maybe we'll give one last little nugget of advice, and then get your contact info. So here is what I wrote down. These are the important points that I pulled out of today's conversation. In real estate, in the industry of real estate investing, follow the money because the money controls everything. That was very early on. You said that. I think that was your dad that gave you that piece of advice. Making mistakes is actually a good thing, so embrace that and learn from it. Who you partner with is highly important. That came up several times. And you said surround yourself with go-getters and go-givers, and the Go-Giver book you recommended. Look for value. Everyone in the partnership should be bringing some kind of value. I preach that a lot, actually. It's when you're partnering with your buddy that things go bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't partner with your buddy, but just make sure that there's very defined roles and clear value being added on both sides or all sides. So I'm going to echo Aaron there. Show up, work hard, and do right by people. Your motto, and it's what's really the foundation of your success. And I love that what you said. I'm not your only option. I'm probably your second or third option. My job is to educate you to help you make the best decision for yourself. That's a great way to negotiate your way into these foreclosures. How I do.
Oh, that was great. Excellent summary.
Cool. What's one last piece of nugget, one last piece of advice? A lot of our listeners and viewers are newer to the industry. What can you tell them? How did you you're super successful. So what's one piece of advice here?
Yeah, one piece of advice that I'd say is, man, focus on your activities. It's the activities that produce the results. We all look at the people on the stages and what they've accomplished, and we want to fast pace, fast past that. So, like, I just want to be there. And what is the quickest and easiest way to get there? I think acknowledging that it's usually not going to be quick, and it's certainly usually not going to be easy. Embrace the suck, embrace the hard, embrace the pain, and you cannot control the outcome. You can't control the results. You can't control whether a distressed homeowner is going to work with you, or that home buyer is going to hire you, or even that the offer that you're writing for that home buyer is going to get accepted. But what you can control is your activities. And so many people mistake activities for being productive. Like, I mean, how many times has a new investor or real estate agent said, my website has to be perfect?
Yeah, I was just going to go there.
My
Yeah.
business cards, I need business cards. I need a mission statement, right? Like, I'm going to go to this course and class and to decide my mission statement. I mean, all of that stuff is important and it's great, and I'm not downplaying it, but none of it means jack squat unless you're out there talking to people. And so defining like what should my day look like that's actually productive activities, and keeping your focus and accountability to that is what's going to help you achieve success.
Productive activities. Yeah. Activities that produce results. Focus on this. And results typically is revenue, but not always. Cool. So Aaron, if someone want to get a hold of you, how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, best way is to call my cell or text me directly. I'm at 303-250-4440.
Cool. And we'll put the website, Renav, and I thought you have the Facebook. You gave me your Facebook handle here, so I'll put that in the show notes. But yeah, definitely reach out to Aaron if there's anything he can do to help you.
Do it. I look forward to hearing from you.
Aaron, you just gave us 40 minutes of your time. I know you have lots of different things you could be doing. You're a busy, busy guy, probably busier than I even realize for how well you're doing. So I really appreciate the 40 minutes of your time to give back to me and give back to our viewers and listeners. So thank you. And to the listener, thank you so much. You're giving up your time to be here, hanging out with Aaron and I. You're driving in your car or wherever you are. We really do appreciate you. So thank you so much. If you got some value from our friend Aaron, please do us a favor, give us a 5-star review, maybe share this with a pal or two. What we're trying to do is help more real estate investors just like you. And so with that, I'll close. I hope you have a great day. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Kevin. You're the best. Thanks for having me.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. If you did, please be sure to follow and leave us a review. Oh yeah, and tell a friend.